Two people taken to the hospital after an early morning accident in the city of Rome. And with the high school fall sports season fast approaching, some area athletes are going through a unique series of tests.
Where the news comes first, this is News Channel 2 at noon.
Good afternoon, I'm Dave Dellecese. As the high school football season approaches, the folks at Citron Healthcare are introducing a new program that could save lives on and off the field. News Channel 2's Gary Liberatore has the details live from the newsroom. Gary, good afternoon to you.
Well, good afternoon to you, Dave. Citron has set up shop today over at Notre Dame Junior-Senior High School, and they're performing what are called baseline concussion screenings. Now, there are a series of tests that actually look at how a person reacts before a concussion, so that in the event they do have one, these baseline testing results can be compared to the same exact tests that would be given after a concussion. The tests include both cognitive testing that includes a series of questions to see how the brain responds, and some physical testing involving a person's balance. Now, this is testing that is done in other parts of the country and even in some other cities around the state, but this is the first of its kind here in the Mohawk Valley.
Unfortunate instance that someone has a concussion, they come back up to Citron and they get retested under the same circumstances that they were prior to injury, so we can have a good value to compare on, so we can help determine when the best time to return to play is.
And a lot of parents may be interested in this, but this is the only day this screening is being offered at Notre Dame. But if you are interested in having the testing done, you can call the Citron Concussion Management Program at that number right there, 737-2246. And besides having the benefit of these baseline results, Dave, a big benefit, the cost. It's only $20. So again, call that number right there, 737-2246 to set up an appointment. I know there's a couple of weeks before the season starts. All right, Gary Liberatore reporting live from the newsroom. Thank you very much, Gary. Time now for a first look at the weather. If you're hitting the football field today, here's meteorologist Jill Reale.
A beautiful day across central New York. We're talking about a lot of sunshine. Temperatures warming up into the 70s across the region. Currently at Griffith Park, we are still in the 60s, 68 degrees. With a light wind and a dew point of 55, but into the 70s in Herkimer, 74 degrees. From David Herkimer, 71 in Poland, 72 in Westmoreland, 66 in Lake Pleasant. If you're heading to Herkimer, actually to Frankfort, to the Herkimer County Fair, 75 to 80 degrees, mostly sunny skies. Do not forget that sunscreen throughout the afternoon. Temperatures will be climbing into the mid to upper 70s. A very pleasant day across the region. We're expecting improving conditions for the weekend as well, with heat returning next week. Look at that forecast coming up in just a little bit. Dave, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Jill. Two men are in the hospital after a rollover accident early this morning. Police say 23-year-old Michael Nicholas from Oneida was driving south on Hogue Road in Rome around 2 a.m. when police say he didn't stop at the stop sign at the Route 365 intersection. The car went into a nearby ditch and came to rest in a cornfield. The passenger in the car, 23-year-old Nicholas Hudson, was also taken to a hospital. The driver was issued traffic tickets for failure to stop at a stop sign and unreasonable speed. He is scheduled to appear in Rome court in September. Police say a man may have tried to snatch two children, one in Utica and one in Syracuse, within hours of each other on Tuesday. And now police are asking you to keep an eye out for the suspect and his vehicle. A bystander who saw something said something, so the man in question got away empty-handed. It was near the intersection of Addington Place and High Street in the city of Utica, where a couple saw a man believed to be in his 60s try to lure a 5-year-old child into his pickup truck. The couple confronted the man, whom they say got nervous and drove off. They reported the incident to Utica police, and the following night, UPD got a report that the same thing with a vehicle and suspect description that were nearly identical happened in Syracuse 4 hours prior to the Utica incident, around 2 in the afternoon on Tuesday.
My girls play in the park a lot, and that's one of the main reasons I make sure that either myself or my sons are outside to watch them, and they know stranger danger. If you see someone you don't know, you run and you come back home.
Police are asking you to be on the lookout for a man fitting this description. He's a white male, possibly in his 60s, short hair with what's known as a brush cut, wearing a white hat at the time, and he was driving a smaller white pickup truck. If you have any information, you are asked to call 315-735-3301. Meanwhile, authorities say a 10-year-old girl abducted in Pennsylvania, triggering an Amber Alert, has been found safe, and her alleged abductor is in custody. Police say that Peter Tarbox of Gordon, Pennsylvania, was taken into custody Thursday night in the town of Gouverneur in St. Lawrence County. It wasn't clear if he had a lawyer. The Amber Alert issued earlier for a green Saab believed to be headed toward the town of Norwood has been canceled. State police say the girl, identified as Alexandria Jade Long, was abducted in Gordon, Pennsylvania. Police say Tarbox is a former acquaintance of the girl's mother, but was a stranger to the child. U.S. Marshals say 20-year-old Xavier Godson and 20-year-old Dennis Neal, along with several other suspects, beat a man to death in the New York City area with a large rock. Investigators were able to locate the two near a home on Oswego Street in Utica. Several other local agencies helped with the investigation, including the United County Sheriff's Department, State Police, and Utica Police. We have a lot more ahead on News Channel 2 Noon, including talking solar. Two Utica Common Council members say they have a way to save taxpayers money, and that idea is to put solar panels on city buildings, such as the police station. Stay with us. That and more is straight ahead.
You're watching News Channel 2 at noon with Dave Dellecese and Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Bill Cardis. News Channel 2, where the news comes first. Listen to News Channel 2 at sunrise, noon, and the Live at 5 News Hour on 100.7 FM, WUTQ.
We're back, and two Utica Common Council members say they have a bright idea that would save taxpayer money. That idea involves the bright sunshine. Councilmen Jim Zecca and Frank Becerra announced this morning that they plan on introducing legislation to have the city of Utica solicit proposals to put solar panels atop city buildings, such as City Hall and the police station. The solar power harnessed from the sun would be cheaper than what the city pays National Grid. The idea is to have a solar panel company build, finance, and own the panels, but sell the energy back to the city at just 5 cents per kilowatt hour, rather than pay the current rate of 6.5 cents per kilowatt hour.
Municipality is not looking at trying to get grants, coming up with matching funds. This is truly a public-private partnership where a private company would come in, develop the system, operate the system, and actually bill the city for the power that the city utilizes, and that would be guaranteed for a 15-year period at 5 cents a kilowatt hour. That's unheard of.
Zecca and Becerra say they hope to introduce their legislation at the next Common Council meeting. Assemblyman Anthony Brindisi has announced new guidelines for star exemptions registration for star exemptions, which will take place August 19th through December 31st. And the new legislation requires all homeowners receiving a basic star exemption to register with the state tax department in order to receive the exemption in 2014 and any subsequent years. This is part of a new initiative to protect New Yorkers against inappropriate or fraudulent star exemptions. Senior citizens receiving the enhanced exemption are not affected by the new registration requirement. You can register through the tax department's website. We've linked you there via our website, WKTV.com. Well, coming up, we are living healthy, and a new campaign working to provide a safe and encouraging environment for teens to work through mental health issues. And News Talk is coming up. Today, Carmel Sullivan will join us to take your questions about Social Security. But first, you're always secure with a Jill Reale forecast. That's
right. Nothing like the real deal. We're talking about quiet weather for today. That will continue for the weekend. We'll look at that forecast coming up after the break.
Sunday Night Football, this fall on News Channel 2.
Now at noon, two people taken to the hospital after an early morning accident in the city of Rome. And with the high school fall sports season fast approaching, some area athletes are going through a unique series of tests.
Where the news comes first, this is News Channel 2 at noon.
Good afternoon, I'm Dave Dellecese. As the high school football season approaches, the folks at Citron Healthcare are introducing a new program that could save lives on and off the field. News Channel 2's Gary Liberatore has the details live from the newsroom. Gary, good afternoon to you.
Well, good afternoon to you, Dave. Citron has set up shop today over at Notre Dame Junior-Senior High School, and they're performing what are called baseline concussion screenings. Now, there are a series of tests that actually look at how a person reacts before a concussion, so that in the event they do have one, these baseline testing results can be compared to the same exact tests that would be given after a concussion. The tests include both cognitive testing that includes a series of questions to see how the brain responds, and some physical testing involving a person's balance. Now, this is testing that is done in other parts of the country and even in some other cities around the state, but this is the first of its kind here in the Mohawk Valley.
Unfortunate instance that someone has a concussion, they come back up to Citron and they get retested under the same circumstances that they were prior to injury, so we can have a good value to compare on, so we can help determine when the best time to return to play is.
And a lot of parents may be interested in this, but this is the only day this screening is being offered at Notre Dame. But if you are interested in having the testing done, you can call the Citron Concussion Management Program at that number right there, 737-2246. And besides having the benefit of these baseline results, Dave, a big benefit, the cost. It's only $20. So again, call that number right there, 737-2246, to set up an appointment. I know there's a couple of weeks before the season starts.
All right, Gary Libertor reporting live from the newsroom. Thank you very much, Gary. Time now for a first look at the weather. If you're hitting the football field today, here's meteorologist Jill Reale.
A beautiful day across central New York. We're talking about a lot of sunshine. Temperatures warming up into the 70s across the region. Currently at Griffith Park, we are still in the 60s, 68 degrees. With a light wind and a dew point of 55, but into the 70s in Herkimer, 74 degrees. From David Herkimer, 71 in Poland, 72 in Westmoreland, 66 in Lake Pleasant. If you're heading to Herkimer, actually to Frankfort, to the Herkimer County Fair, 75 to 80 degrees, mostly sunny skies. Do not forget that sunscreen throughout the afternoon. Temperatures will be climbing into the mid to upper 70s. A very pleasant day across the region. We're expecting improving conditions for the weekend as well, with heat returning next week. Look at that forecast coming up in just a little bit. Dave, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Jill. 2 men are in the hospital after a rollover accident early this morning. Police say 23-year-old Michael Nicholas from Oneida was driving south on Hogue Road in Rome around 2 a.m. when police say he didn't stop at the stop sign at the Route 365 intersection. The car went into a nearby ditch and came to rest in a cornfield. The passenger in the car, 23-year-old Nicholas Hudson, was also taken to a hospital. The driver was issued traffic tickets for failure to stop at a stop sign and unreasonable speed. He is scheduled to appear in Rome court in September. Police say a man may have tried to snatch 2 children, one in Utica and one in Syracuse, within hours of each other on Tuesday. And now police are asking you to keep an eye out for the suspect and his vehicle. A bystander who saw something said something, so the man in question got away empty-handed. It was near the intersection of Addington Place and High Street in the city of Utica, where a couple saw a man believed to be in his 60s try to lure a 5-year-old child into his pickup truck. The couple confronted the man, whom they say got nervous and drove off. They reported the incident to Utica police, and the following night, UPD got a report that the same thing with a vehicle and suspect description that were nearly identical happened in Syracuse 4 hours prior to the Utica incident, around 2 in the afternoon on Tuesday.
My girls play in the park a lot, and that's one of the main reasons I make sure that either myself or my sons are outside to watch them, and they know stranger danger. If you see someone you don't know, you run and you come back home.
Police are asking you to be on the lookout for a man fitting this description. He's a white male, possibly in his 60s, short hair with what's known as a brush cut, wearing a white hat at the time, and he was driving a smaller white pickup truck. If you have any information, you are asked to call 315-735-3301. Meanwhile, authorities say a 10-year-old girl abducted in Pennsylvania, triggering an Amber Alert, has been found safe, and her alleged abductor is in custody. Police say that Peter Tarbox of Gordon, Pennsylvania, was taken into custody Thursday night in the town of Gouverneur in St. Lawrence County. It wasn't clear if he had a lawyer. The Amber Alert issued earlier for a green Saab believed to be headed toward the town of Norwood has been canceled. State police say the girl, identified as Alexandria Jade Long, was abducted in Gordon, Pennsylvania. Police say Tarbox is a former acquaintance of the girl's mother, but was a stranger to the child. U.S. Marshals say 20-year-old Xavier Godson and 20-year-old Dennis Neal, along with several other suspects, beat a man to death in the New York City area with a large rock. Investigators were able to locate the 2 near a home on Oswego Street in Utica. Several other local agencies helped with the investigation, including the United County Sheriff's Department, State Police, and Utica Police. We have a lot more ahead on News Channel 2 Noon, including talking solar. 2 Utica Common Council members say they have a way to save taxpayers money, and that idea is to put solar panels on city buildings such as the police station. Stay with us. That and more is straight ahead.
You're watching News Channel 2 at noon with Dave Dellecese and Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Bill Cardis. News Channel 2, where the news comes first.
What if there was a helpline for dinner ideas? Helper helpline, we're on our way. You have got to try this sweet and sour chicken helper.
I didn't know they made chicken.
Crunchy taco or 4-cheese lasagna?
There's 40 different flavors? That is really good.
I love cheese.
Dad's night, helper makes daddy the man.
Can I get another one of those, actually? Thank you. Hey, America, we're here to help. AmericasHelper.com.
The clearance and floor model liquidation roars on at My Carl's Furniture City in Utica and Watertown.
Sold!
One-of-a-kind living rooms, head them out. Every last Tempur-Pedic mattress, move them out. 100% genuine leather sets, all leather, going.
Sold!
This colossal furniture sales event of your lifetime beats any other furniture store's so-called sales event, but you must act now. Put it in drive. Get here. I can see you.
Sold!
I won't save you this. I'll save you more money.
What we are able to provide for families and patients is amazing. It's probably one of the most rewarding things that you can do is to be side by side with a mom and their baby and be able to say that we were able to provide that service or that piece of equipment because of the funds that we were able to raise through Children's Miracle Network.
It makes my job easier to be able to tell families that everything's going to be okay because their babies are going to have the best care here at this facility.
FirstSource Federal Credit Union has been partnering with us in many ways, including fundraising for Children's Miracle Network, volunteering at all of our activities, and also spreading the message to the community to encourage our community to join with them in helping to support the Children's Miracle Network hospitals. When community partners come together like we have, miracles can really happen.
You've worked hard for everything you have. Count on the Ward Law Firm to protect you and your assets.
Wills, trust, probate, estate, and Medicaid planning with the personal attention you expect. Andrew Ward, along with former head of Medicaid recovery for Oneida County, Bob Malpezzi, can handle Medicaid applications for nursing home care and care in your own home. The Ward Law Firm can even work with you to resolve any existing Medicaid issues and review your plan to make sure it's everything you expect.
It's never too late to protect your assets.
Call today for a free consultation.
Listen to News Channel 2 at sunrise, noon, and the Live at 5 News Hour on 100.7 FM, WUTQ.
We're back, and 2 Utica Common Council members say they have a bright idea that would save taxpayer money. That idea involves the bright sunshine. Councilmen Jim Zecca and Frank Becerra announced this morning that they plan on introducing legislation to have the city of Utica solicit proposals to put solar panels atop city buildings, such as City Hall and the police station. The solar power harnessed from the sun would be cheaper than what the city pays National Grid. The idea is to have a solar panel company build, finance, and own the panels, but sell the energy back to the city at just 5 cents per kilowatt hour, rather than pay the current rate of 6.5 cents per kilowatt hour.
Municipality is not looking at trying to get grants, coming up with matching funds. This is truly a public-private partnership where a private company would come in, develop the system, operate the system, and actually bill the city for the power that the city utilizes, and that would be guaranteed for a 15-year period at 5 cents a kilowatt hour. That's unheard of.
Zecca and Becerra say they hope to introduce their legislation at the next Common Council meeting. Assemblyman Anthony Brindisi has announced new guidelines for star exemptions registration for star exemptions, which will take place August 19th through December 31st. And the new legislation requires all homeowners receiving a basic star exemption to register with the state tax department in order to receive the exemption in 2014 and any subsequent years. This is part of a new initiative to protect New Yorkers against inappropriate or fraudulent star exemptions. Senior citizens receiving the enhanced exemption are not affected by the new registration requirement. You can register through the tax department's website. We've linked you there via our website, WKTV.com. Well, coming up, we are living healthy and a new campaign working to provide a safe and encouraging environment for teens to work through mental health issues. And News Talk is coming up. Today, Carmel Sullivan will join us to take your questions about Social Security. But first, you're always secure with a Jill Reale forecast.
That's right, nothing like the real deal. We're talking about quiet weather for today. That will continue for the weekend. We'll look at that forecast coming up after the break.
I'm attorney Dan Smith. If you've been hurt in a car wreck, call me. Do it now.
The first thing to do after a car accident is call Dan Smith.
Do it before the medical bills pile up.
Don't try to handle the insurance company on your own.
Do it to make sure you get the settlement the law says you deserve.
Do it first.
Do it now.
If you've been hurt on the job or on the road, call me. It's just that easy.
Hurt in a car wreck? Call 1-800-248-2827. 1-800-248-2827.
Discover quality, discover Lutheran Care, and the quality rehabilitation services they have to offer. Lutheran Care's rehab services are designed for persons recovering from joint injury, stroke, heart attack, fractures, and other injuries requiring physical, occupational, and speech therapy. When you're in need of rehabilitative care, discover Lutheran Care. Lutheran Care, quality care since 1919.
Come visit Grapevine Farms in Cobleskill. Shopping on 3 themed floors awaits you. A large and vibrant selection of Vera Bradley products. Each season is special at Grapevine Farms. Color and fun are abundant. Fresh brewed beverages at the Espresso Bar. Unique and tasty lunch delights served daily at the Farmhouse Bistro. Aisles and aisles of candles, jewelry for all occasions, and the Grapevine Farms Wine Cellar, featuring only New York State produced wines. Grapevine Farms, a special place with a friendly country shopping experience.
Save thousands on the new revolutionary swim spa at a one-time event. This weekend only at the On Center, Syracuse. Exercise with low impact. Swim the entire year and stay in shape. Teach your kids to swim. Unwind and save thousands. Avoid the expense and maintenance involved with a pool. Swim, exercise, and relax in your new aquatic exercise swim spa. Installation in 1 day only. Factory new inventory. 12 months interest-free financing. Millions of dollars of inventory must be sold. This weekend only at the On Center, Syracuse. Free parking. Free admission. Call 1-888-SPA-SALE.
For over 50 years, Brindisi, Murad, Brindisi, and Perlman have stood for those who have been wrong and protected those in the right. Brindisi, Murad, Brindisi, and Perlman is proud to have been named by U.S. News & World Report as one of the best law firms in the U.S. They're the #1 place to go for an injury lawyer. If you or a loved one experienced any type of serious personal injury, you need a lawyer that knows the area, knows the system, and knows the courtroom. Brindisi, Murad, Brindisi, and Perlman, the people's lawyer.
The people's lawyer, when you need a lifeline.
Now, Storm Tracker 2 weather with meteorologist Jill Reale.
Start off in the 40s this morning, but now we're quickly warming up into the 70s across central New York, all thanks to that sunshine. A lot of sunshine to go around. Picture perfect day. Light wind out of the west, northwest at 7 miles per hour. Dew point of 55. 75 already in Albany, 73 in Poughkeepsie, 71 in Ithaca. A little cool to our south of Binghamton at 67. 67 as well in Saranac Lake, 73 degrees in Syracuse, and 72 in Rochester. The cool pool of air that was around us over the past several days is now pushed off to the north and to the east. Behind it, we're going to begin that warming trend with temperatures in the 70s for today. The 80s will be knocking on our doorstep as we head into the weekend, and then some very warm air arrives as we head into next week. So for those who've been wanting a return to summer, today is day one, and we'll continue that trend for some very warm temperatures as we head into next week. For those who like the taste of fall, unfortunately, you're not going to get that probably until September or October. On radar and satellite, quiet conditions across New York. We had a little bit of fog this morning that quickly burned off, and now we're seeing mostly sunny skies pretty much from Albany back towards Buffalo. Zooming out, large area of high pressure remaining in control of our weather. For today, it's pretty much going to stick around as we go into next week as well. We have one little hiccup on Tuesday, but besides that, a long stretch of some very dry weather across central New York. Perfect timing for the weekend and into next week. So on our Skycast, and again, I expect wall-to-wall sunshine for this afternoon. Maybe a high cloud or two up towards Old Forge and the Adirondacks. But if you're going camping, this weekend looks like perfect weather. A little cool tonight, but as we head into tomorrow morning, a lot of sunshine to go around. By Saturday at 10, Same story as we go into Saturday afternoon, evening. Mostly sunny skies with temperatures a little bit warmer compared to today. But as we head into the afternoon, 74 degrees, mostly sunny skies. For this evening, great evening, 77, mostly sunny. For tonight, again, a little cool out there, so if you are camping tonight, going to want to bring the extra blanket as temperatures will be falling back into the 40s. But taking a look at the rest of your forecast, mostly sunny for Saturday and Sunday. 80 for tomorrow, 82 on Sunday. Then we'll really begin to warm up as we head into next week. We have a chance for a few thunderstorms on Tuesday. But as I said this morning, perfect timing. The state fair starts next week, and that's when things are really going to heat up.
And it just goes to show you that summer is not gone. Summer is still here for a little
while. We're only in the middle of August, so we still have a good chunk.
Well, I know people get a little fearful. You get one day of some cooler weather, and all of a sudden everybody thinks
fall's
fall's here. Exactly.
Yeah. No, we're back.
We're still in summer. All right, thanks a lot, Jill. Living Healthy now, half of all people who struggle with mental health issues start by age 14, yet less than 20% of young people get the help they need. The OK to Talk campaign is working to change that by providing a safe and encouraging environment for teens and young adults to share their own personal stories, as Brittany Glazer reports.
Satisfied are you?
For one long and trying year, Kelly Booth worked to hide what she was really feeling inside.
You look fine on the outside, but on the inside, you know, you're just kind of feel like you're losing it.
Kelly was dealing with severe anxiety, including panic attacks from the moment she woke up until she went to bed.
I knew once I started isolating myself and not really wanting to get out that I had to do something to change.
Anxiety is one of the most common mental health issues affecting teens and young adults. Licensed professional counselor Scott Revere says the stigma oftentimes attached with mental illness keeps young people from talking about it.
Especially in teenagers, anxiety and depression are incredibly common. I mean, their life is pretty complicated. They're growing up, they have school, they're trying to engage in that separation from parents.
The rate for serious mental conditions is highest for those ages 18 to 25. That's why a Tumblr-based community called OK to Talk is giving young adults a place to add their voice by sharing quotes, photos, videos, and messages of support in a safe, moderated space.
So many times you just feel so isolated and you just don't know what to do. Talking to someone and getting kind of their perspective on things can really help you kind of look at it in a different light.
Talking can even be the cure someone needs.
Sigmund Freud was the first person to coin the term the talking cure, and he just found that with certain people, just the simple act of admitting it and talking about it helped them to let it go and start to feel better.
For Kelly, making it okay to talk about her anxiety is what led to her finding her calm at work and at home with her husband.
So tell me about your successes.
Now the two are expecting a baby boy and challenges that she knows she's capable of overcoming.
I still deal with anxiety from time to time, but now I know methods to coach myself through it and, you know, not to let it totally tear me down for the day.
News Talk is coming up next. Our guest is Carmel Sullivan from the Social Security office in Utica to take your questions about Social Security. 793 WKTV is the number to call, and we'll chat with her right after the break. Some local anniversaries to pass along to you now. A happy 55th anniversary to Joe and Myra Gressel of Mohawk. They have 4 children and 1 granddaughter. Bill and Nadine Fitz of Deerfield are celebrating 33 years of marriage today. They have 3 sons. A happy 10th anniversary to Jason and Tiffany Robinson today. They have a 4-year-old son named Michael and a dog named Sunny. Ken and Stephanie Boone are celebrating their 5th anniversary today. A happy 27th anniversary to Tim and Kathy Barcombe. They have 3 daughters. Barbara and Ronald Barcombe are celebrating 55 years of marriage today. They have 5 children, 12 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. A happy 50th anniversary to Augie and Teresa Labazetta today. They have 3 children and 8 grandchildren. Coming up tomorrow on Saturday, August 17th, Richard and Dorothy Yankee will celebrate their 50th anniversary. Mike and Michelle Barkley of Cassville will celebrate 22 years. They have 1 daughter. Jean and Jen Chesniak of Rome will celebrate 56 years on Saturday. They have 2 daughters and 6 grandsons. A happy 38th anniversary this Saturday to Jim and Deb Hike of Middleville. And coming up on Sunday, Terry and Bonnie O'Brien of Ilion will celebrate 51 years of marriage on Sunday. They have 3 children, along with 4 grandchildren. And Richard and Peggy Menine of Frankfort will celebrate 24 years of marriage on Sunday. They have 2 children and 1 granddaughter. If you have an anniversary coming up, we want to hear from you. You can mail, fax, or email your announcement to the locations on your screen. Just make sure to include the couple's name, the anniversary date, and a brief summary about their life together. And we'll tell you about local anniversaries every day here on News Channel 2 at noon. Welcome back to News Talk for this half hour. Carmel Sullivan is here to take your questions about Social Security. Before we do, I know that there's something you want to get out there. You want to talk a little bit about payees.
Yes.
Representative payees.
Right. Social Security does not recognize power of attorney. And many times when you're helping an elderly relative, you have the power of attorney, and you feel that that will permit you to conduct their business with Social Security, administer their checks. Unfortunately, that is not how it works. We have our own system. It's called filing to be the representative payee. It's a relatively simple system. We do require a note from the physician mentioning the fact that the individual cannot handle their own finances. What happens is people operate under the assumption that we have power of attorney, and then something happens and the checks stop, or they need a Medicaid card or a Medicare card, and then we find we have no one that can act for the individual. The individual has dementia or some other illness that prevents them for taking care of their own business. And then we're scrambling and everybody's under stress. So if you are taking care of the finances for an elderly relative or a relative that has some type of mental impairment, I urge you to contact us before it becomes an issue so that we can get this procedure in place, and then when something does come up, everything runs smoothly. Thank you.
All right, let's take a call. Hello, caller. You're on the air.
Hello. My question is in regards to Part D on prescriptions. Can you cover that?
It depends. We can cover a portion of it. There is a program called Extra Help. And if you meet our guidelines of income and resources, we can pay for the basic D plan. If you want a Cadillac plan or maybe even a Ford plan, then you'd have to cover the difference yourself. But we look at your income, we look at your resources, we look at if you're helping other people, and if you are basically, if you qualify for our paying your Part B, we probably will pay again the basic Part D, which is about $20 a month we would cover. I've seen programs as much as $60 or $75, depending upon what medications you take. But what, again, I would encourage you to do is either go online, call our 800 number, drop by the Utica office, and we can screen you and see if you could qualify. It's never a waste of time to check into things because you never know what you might be entitled to, and there's a lot of help out there for our seniors and our disabled individuals, and sometimes, unfortunately, they do not realize it. So, you know, we're there to help you. We're there to answer your questions. So please use us as a resource.
All right, let's take another call. Hello, caller. You are on the air.
Hi.
Hi, go right ahead.
My question is about Social Security disability. If you haven't worked in 5 years because of a disability, can you still apply for disability?
Yes, you can. You have to meet a requirement which says 5 out of the last 10 years you have to have worked from the time you became disabled. So it's conceivable that you could have become disabled 10 years ago and not filed. If there is medical evidence, and that is key, if there's medical evidence going back that far, then we could find you disabled. We would not pay you for those 10 years because the most we will pay retroactively is 1 year. But I have taken claims from people when I was a claims representative where they had become disabled 15 years ago. And I would take the claim. I was not particularly optimistic. I would say, you know, if we can't find the evidence going back that far, then perhaps we'd have to look at SSI, which is Supplemental Security Income, essentially a needs-based program. But it is entirely possible. The issue is having that medical evidence that goes back that far. If you say you're disabled 6 months ago, then there's all sorts of evidence available. The longer you go back, you know, the trail sort of gets cold. But if you've had a chronic condition and you've been seeing the same physician, then certainly it's possible. Again, make an appointment. Let's see what's out there. Don't ever exclude yourself. Wait and let the professionals in our disability determination services make that decision for you.
Okay, thank you so much for the questions. Carmel, thank you so much for joining
My
us.
pleasure,
We appreciate
love
it. And coming up in our next half hour of News Talk, it is Friday, so Beth Irons will join us from the Oneida County Public Market to show us what you can find there this weekend. And still ahead, we'll see how Wall Street is faring this afternoon. On Wall Street, as you can see, Michael J. Fox and the former crew of the USS Intrepid ringing the bell in honor of the homecoming reunion for the Intrepid. Time now for the Bloomberg Midday Report. For the latest, here's Bloomberg's Jane King at the New York Stock Exchange.
Nitty video game system goes on sale Sunday, combining collectible figures with on-screen play. It's Disney's best shot at reviving its unprofitable interactive unit, and it pits Disney against the Skylanders game from Activision Blizzard. With Infinity, players set plastic characters from Pirates of the Caribbean or monsters on top of their game. They appear on the screen and they can interact. The first time Disney's put characters from different movies together in a game. The game connects to PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and the Wii U. I expect to hear a lot about it. GameStop and Toys R Us, for example, have space dedicated to displays. And on this day, we find out that Samsung will unveil its wristwatch-like smartphone next month. Bloomberg is also told that Sony will introduce a smartphone featuring imaging technology developed for its cameras and ultra-high-def TVs. We're told we'll see each of these on September 4th, 6 days before the expected introduction of the next iPhone. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Jane King with the Bloomberg Midday Report.
News continues now with a horse missing locally from a horse farm, and now some officials are saying there might be more to it than animals just running away. News Channel 2's Anna Myler has more.
There are about 45 horses on a Oriskany Creek farm in Kirkland. But on August 1st, Rebecca Zarnacki realized one of them was missing from the enclosed pasture. She says it was taken in the middle of the night.
And we walked and searched, but there's no tracks outside the fence, no horse tracks. The only thing that was noticeable was truck and trailer tracks.
And Rebecca fears that her 26-year-old mare is...
He's just sitting in a field, or maybe sent for meat or auction. We don't really know. You have horses that go to slaughter every week. They go to Canada, they go to Mexico.
It's a fear that's beginning to spread throughout the community.
Obviously, being in the same township as the people that have the Kirkland horse missing, it's a concerning thing to have a horse taken from your pasture at night. So obviously we're concerned here for the safety of our animals as well.
Officials say that horse theft is actually on the rise, and if horse slaughterhouses are successful in opening across the United States, they say it could get worse.
But all of us have been concerned as soon as this went through again, that it was just opening up another black market for problems again. And I don't know, that may be happening right here in our community.
A ban on horse slaughter was lifted in the U.S. in 2011, and 2 horse slaughterhouses have been approved in the last 2 months, one in New Mexico and one in Iowa.
Well, in the cases of horses, again, the horse slaughter industry is, if that's going to be open again, they can get more money for horse meat. It's a horrible, horrible situation because these are family pets. Part of this is an economy thing. The economy being as hard as it is, people are resorting to other ways, illegal and legal, to bring income in and make money. And so.
But Rebecca says she isn't giving up.
I've had a lot of people helping, Facebook, flyers, driving, looking around, just seeing if she's thrown in a field or somewhere. Oh, I'm hoping we'll find her, definitely.
Experts suggest protecting your horses by freeze branding them and increasing security on your property with more lights and cameras. In Kirkland, Anna Myler, News Channel 2.
A town meeting in Minden last night became a bit heated when it came to the topic of puppy mills. The purpose of the meeting was originally to address flood relief. However, a large amount of time at the meeting was focused on the issue of puppy mills. Some locals are nervous that the lack of laws in the town will allow for illegal breeding. Back in January, more than 50 puppies were taken by authorities from a discovered puppy mill in the town. Last night, people voiced their opinions, told their stories, and showed off their pets who were victims of abuse, hoping that it would resonate with the town board. They had hoped to shed light on the abuse and turmoil puppies go through while in puppy mills, but the board says they feel residents are a bit misinformed.
Some people thought that the town was going to allow puppy mills in. Puppy mills are not allowed in the town. The town in May passed a moratorium that there be no puppy mills, kennels, any kind of pet breeding facilities at that point.
The New York State Citizens Against Puppy Mills contacted us that these people were having a meeting and that the last time in April they had a moratorium on the puppy mills. This is the town where those pit bulls were, found in January. Nothing was really ever heard from again.
The board says they addressed the former pit bull mill that has since been burned down. Other issues arose, though, as one resident in Minden felt there was a puppy mill across the street from him. He claims to hear dogs bark at night and believes there could be up to 50 dogs inside the house. He says his neighbor actually told him he is, in fact, selling the dogs. The town says they are currently addressing that issue. Turning our focus to the economy now and talking about breaking ground in Little Falls. A family company is celebrating its expansion. 3 generations of the Feldmeyer family were joined by local officials at a ceremony this morning. With golden shovels, they started the groundbreaking at the new company's site. It will be the 6th Feldmeyer manufacturing plant in the United States. Feldmeyer is a provider of stainless steel storage and processing equipment. The president says he is very happy to expand at home and bring more jobs to the Mohawk Valley.
But with the help of the local authorities and the state officials, we have been provided incentive to stay here in New York, and we are happy to stay. We're staying here in the valley. Feldmeyer has a long history of Little Falls and the Mohawk Valley, and we're happy to expand here, and hopefully we will provide an additional 50 jobs within 2.5 years, and we will go onwards and forward from there.
And he says they have the land available to expand even more in Little Falls in the future. Time to get you caught up on the weather outside. For that, here's meteorologist Jill Reale. Good afternoon, Jill.
Good afternoon, Dave. Good afternoon, everyone. During the morning show, we asked the question, which I asked actually a year ago, what is your favorite season? So we want to compare this year's answer compared to last year's. Fall takes the cake. 56% of over 300 people who voted. Congratulations, Dave. Summer was number 2. That's my favorite. Then spring and then winter. So how did it compare to last year? Pretty similar. Fall was 58% last year. Summer was 21%, spring 13%, and winter 8%. So it looks like fall is number 1. And unfortunately for those winter lovers, they come in last place. Anyway you slice it, though, today is a gorgeous day outside. 71 degrees. Mostly sunny skies with a wind out of the west-northwest at 7 miles per hour. We will climb into the mid to upper 70s for today. This nice weather continues for the weekend. Look at that forecast coming up. Dave, back to you.
Thanks a lot, Jill. As the United States tries to wean itself off of fossil fuels and the greenhouse gases they produce, the biofuel industry is heating up. Biofuels, mostly ethanol, are those made from organic and renewable resources. Currently, most of our ethanol comes from corn, but new and better sources are currently being developed. Gary Streaker reports from Eastern Tennessee.
Switchgrass. I'm 6'6", and as you can see, this grass is already on June 20th over my head, and it's got another 8 weeks left to grow before the fall. You can see why we're interested in it for growing biomass.
Biomass, plant material that can be turned into fuel, specifically ethanol. And Professor Patrick Kaiser of the University of Tennessee is high on grass, switchgrass.
This is really a pretty big boon to wildlife. This provides a lot of cover, as you can see. It's undisturbed all through the summer, which means that grassland birds that want to nest out here can do so and get their nest off without being destroyed by harvesting.
So this is where switchgrass then is a very nice fit. It's very high yielding. We can get about 8 dry tons per acre without any irrigation.
Kelly Tiller is president of Genera Energy, a company that processes switchgrass so it can be sent to a biorefinery where it's turned into ethanol. But first, someone needs to grow it.
Last year we had a pretty severe drought, but we still got like 4 cuttings off of it, and it handles the drought very well.
And because it's a perennial, fields don't need to be plowed up every year and fertilized. That means no pollution running to nearby waterways, which support one of the most biodiverse areas in the country.
Water quality here matters. It really matters.
Switchgrass, one possible solution as America gradually switches to a more sustainable energy future. In Vonore, Tennessee, Gary Stryker for NBC News.
Still ahead this half hour, our News Talk guest is going to be Beth Irons from the United County Public Market to talk about what is fresh at the market this week. But first, we check in with your winning lottery numbers. The daily number, 742. The win 4, 3327. And the take 5, 3, 9, 20, 21, and 38. Good luck.
Now, Storm Tracker 2 weather with meteorologist Jill Reale.
Another beautiful day across central New York. The difference between today and the past several days, no clouds, mostly sunny skies out there, 71 degrees. It's also quite warmer with that wind at the west-northwest at 7 miles per hour. We're not having those breezy conditions or those cool temperatures for today, and that trend is going to continue as we head into the weekend. 73 in Syracuse as well as Watertown, 67 in Saranac Lake, 75 in Albany, 73 in Poughkeepsie, 72 in Elmira. Temperatures are beginning to warm up not only across New York State, but across New England as well. We were under this cool Canadian air over the past several days. That's what brought us the lake effect rain showers, the lake effect clouds, and the cool temperatures. But as we trend towards the weekend and into next week, a lot of sunshine and some very summer-like weather returning to central New York. We're talking about highs back into the mid to upper 80s by next week. But for the time being, very comfortable outside, mostly sunny skies. A few high clouds showing up in the Adirondacks up in Hamilton County as well as Herkimer County. But besides that, quiet conditions across the region. Large area of high pressure remaining in control of our weather for today and into the weekend and even into next week. We're looking at a long stretch of some dry air across central New York from the Great Lakes to the northeast. So if you are taking vacation this weekend into next week and traveling anywhere across the Great Lakes, looking like some quiet weather for central New York as well. So on our skycast, again, mostly sunny skies for this afternoon into the early evening hours. Maybe a few high clouds in the Adirondacks later on this evening into tonight. Throughout the overnight, mostly clear. That means cool temperatures for tomorrow morning. But tomorrow, once again, will feature wall-to-wall sunshine for the morning into the afternoon and quiet as we head into the evening. Speaking of afternoon, beautiful weather, 74 degrees, mostly sunny skies. As we head into tonight, perfect evening out there, maybe for a cocktail or for a walk. 77 degrees, mostly sunny. Chilly tonight, so if you're heading up north to go camping, just make sure you bring that extra blanket as we'll be falling back into the 40s throughout the overnight. But a great weekend, mostly sunny for Saturday and Sunday. Temperatures in the low 80s, a little bit more warm and humid as we head into next week. Dave?
Thanks a lot, Jill. Coming up, News Talk, and Beth Irons is joining us from the United County Public Market. Also coming up with something probably a little less healthy, Howard, the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
No need to order takeout with what we're making today. It's fast, it's tasty, and it's certainly budget friendly. We've all had those days when we're just too tired to make anything complicated for dinner. So what do we end up doing? We order takeout. Well, what if you could have a great tasting meal in less time than it takes to get dinner delivered? You can with today's recipe, which cooks up in under 15 minutes. We start by scrambling a couple of eggs. Once they're done, we'll set them aside to cool. In the same skillet, we'll add a little oil and toss in some thawed peas and carrots. Once they heat through, we'll add some cold cooked rice and a bit of soy sauce. It's a great way to use up leftover rice. The trick to good fried rice is to use cold rice. That way, it cooks up crispy instead of getting soggy. While that's cooking, we'll chop up our scrambled eggs and we'll add them back to the skillet. And if you want, you could add some leftover cooked chicken, shrimp, steak, or even more veggies. You get the idea. Top it off with a few sliced scallions, and you've got fried rice that's as good as any from a Chinese restaurant. It makes a great budget-friendly dinner, or it can be a side dish. Our recipe for chopstick veggie fried rice is online now, just in time to make everyone at your table happy tonight. And you won't need a fortune cookie to know what everyone will be saying. Of course they'll be saying, "Ooh, it's so good."
And we're really talking about Ooh, It's So Good, and Ooh, It's So Good made with some local products right here. Beth Irons is joining us from the United County Public Market, and you brought a stuffed zucchini. And
yeah,
it's
zucchinis
delicious.
are coming into season. So, and zucchini and squashes in general are kind of one of those foods that they're they're a good filler food because they kind of take on the flavor of whatever you're cooking them with. But they're also wonderful on their own. In this particular dish, they serve as the base of a stuffed zucchini. And today I chose some sweet sausage, and I threw in some breadcrumbs and some garlic, and also put in some fresh ground Parmesan, and mashed it all together like you were making meatloaf.
Almost. Oh, okay.
And then just scooped out the insides of the zucchini. And I actually used the seed and the pulp that I scooped out of the zucchini as part of the mix, because that kind of brings some extra moisture throughout the mix. And then you just put it all together and put it in the oven for a while, and then 10 or 15 minutes before you're ready to take it out, I pull it out and sprinkle some mozzarella on top and get it nice and brown and crunchy on top. And
wow. And all things you can find at the United County Public Market?
All things you can find at the market, yep.
And speaking of local foods, I know you guys have a big dinner coming up, or Mohawk Valley Edge is sponsoring a big dinner.
Mohawk Valley Edge is sponsoring it, and RCIL is hosting it. But yes, the 2013 Local 4 dinner is coming up September 10th, which is a Tuesday. Tickets are $75 a piece. There's also tables of 8 available for $550 for the businesses out there who want to support it. And I beat my drum constantly. It's all about local. Local chefs are presenting local foods from local farms. It's a 5-course dinner. Each dinner will be paired with a Saranac beer. So we got some really good stuff locally. And also Adirondack Distillery is going to be featured in one of the courses. So everybody's getting in on the act.
And they just started producing gin too.
They just launched their gin. Yep.
Wow.
So it's all good. It's just going to be a fabulous night. I mean, if you come to this, you're just going to be shocked and amazed at the quality of the product that's produced in this area.
And you said, I believe just a moment ago, it's a multi-course meal too, right?
It's a 5-course meal, yep. And each one, there's also going to be what they're calling table discussions. We'll have some featured speakers who will talk about different aspects of the local food systems, some programs that are up and running, some groups that are advocating to support, different aspects of the local food system. So if you're a foodie, this is an event you got to be at.
And we always say, if you're not, if food isn't all that important to you, but maybe you're one of those people who's always beating the drum about the economy and the local economy and what needs to be done. This is a perfect way, and we love to beat that drum. A perfect way to get that local economy going is to support these local farmers.
Yep. And reinvest your dollars. As precious as everyone's discretionary income is nowadays, the best possible thing you could do is reinvest it in your own community, and that's exactly what this encourages.
And I mean, you've always had some good figures, so to speak, in terms of how much money stays in the community when you're spending them, say at the public market with a local farmer.
Right. I mean, and my go-to line for that is for every $5 invested at a farmer's market through a nutrition support program, it generates $9.20 of economic impact in the local community.
Wow.
So you're almost doubling your impact. For every dollar you spend, you almost double the impact that dollar has if it's invested locally.
And a lot of people
that's huge.
Who may not have taken advantage of the public market yet. I mean, there's tons of things to see. I know you'll have to run down the various vendors they have. Sometimes you have music down there too, entertainment, and it's more than just food too, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's crafts, it's woodworking. Last year we started a program to invite nonprofits to participate, and this year we've had wonderful participation from local nonprofits where they're welcomed in to just kind of raise awareness about their mission. One of the food obviously is the basis of ours and any farmer's market or public market, but I try to focus the attention also at the United County Public Market on there's a sense of community that develops down there, and there are so many places that are so hungry for revitalization of that civic pride, where people stand up a little taller because they say, I'm from such and such a place, and this is what we do there. There's a lot of people working to reinvigorate that attitude in our community, and the vendors at the United County Public Market they're a class act where that's concerned. They're so proud of what they do and how they do it. It's a passion from the heart every day for them. So.
And any of the times that I've been down there, it's just such a wonderful feeling when you're buying something to be able to ask the person who grew it any of the questions that you have, whether it's meat, whether it's vegetables, you can ask them face to face. Yep. And you just can't do that if you're buying, you know, from a big store somewhere. It's really
well,
neat.
the relationship isn't there. I mean, it's just that it's too broad. But that's we have, like I've said before, we have a much smarter consumer walking in the door nowadays, and they want to know, you know, where it was grown, if pesticides were used. People are much more conscious about their general health, and you have people who are dealing with celiac diseases and you know, diverticulitis and things like that. And knowing what goes in your mouth helps you understand what happens once it's in your body and how you can minimize your risks. And being able to talk to the person who planted the seed that grew the plant that's that tomato that you're going to cut up for your lunch tomorrow is huge to a lot of people, and it's a growing trend. So
excellent, well said, well said. Beth Irons from the United County Public Market. You can check it out 9 to 2 at Union Station in Utica tomorrow, and we will be back right after this. It's time now for your News to Go, the news and weather information you need to continue on with your day. As the high school football season approaches, the folks over at Citron Healthcare are introducing a new program that could save lives on and off the field. With the high school football season approaching, they are using new technology that could ultimately save those lives. They set up shop over at Notre Dame Junior-Senior High School, and they're performing what is called baseline concussion screenings on young athletes. The tests would be used to compare to the same exact tests given after someone were to have a concussion. Gary Libertor will have much more on this story tonight at 5 and 6. 2 men are in the hospital after a rollover accident early this morning in the city of Rome. Police say the driver was headed south on Hogue Road in Rome around 2 a.m., didn't stop for a stop sign at the Route 365 intersection, and ended up going into a ditch and then coming to rest in a cornfield. The driver and the passenger were both taken to the hospital, and the driver was issued tickets for failure to stop at a stop sign and unreasonable speed. And 2 Utica council members are introducing legislation next week to solicit proposals for solar panels atop city buildings. They say it will save the city a lot of money.
Now, meteorologist Jill Reale with the weather to go. Picture perfect weather for today and for the weekend. 77 for today, into the 80s by Saturday and Sunday, and a big warm up as we head into next week. So summer has returned.
All right. I know a lot of people are looking forward to it.
I am.
Have a great day, everybody.